Alix here. Welcome to another episode on Love and Waves. And today I want to pull the lens back a bit on this whole awakening theme that I've been on along my own journey and sharing with you as I've been moving up and up this scale of consciousness and this experience in this world that has changed dramatically since really being initiated much more deeply in my awakening. And so I want to pull this lens back, be a little bit abstract here, but the whole goal is to have you be able to identify, where you are in a sense, if you're feeling stuck, what's really next for you, and just a bigger picture on awakening in general, and why so many of us are actually being thrust onto this path and not really knowing what's going on. Why is life feeling difficult or hard right now? Why are we getting hung up? What is going on in our relationships that suddenly makes them more difficult? What is happening in my work that suddenly that's not as fulfilling anymore and the meaning is not there? What is going on in the world? Now, I'm not going to get into politics or any of that kind of stuff, nor will I take any sides or views. Where I live now, I really don't take sides anymore. Everything is really perfectly okay and unfolding the way it's meant to. And whether it's quote unquote good or bad is no longer judgment that I hold. And that's part of where you're going on awakening, is you come to the point where you literally live in the eye of the storm. And so anything could be going on out around you, and you can see it from a perspective and from a level that allows you to see the unfoldment from a much larger standpoint. And actually, in a strange way, the perfection of watching our planet come into balance, our communities coming into balance, and each of us within our own homes and within us coming into balance. And that's really what's happening right now. So the biggest picture about this is that we are in an awakening time. This age of Aquarius, this golden age we're moving into we're just turning that corner right now. It's been prophesied forever. And so what's happening, and you'll see it if you're paying attention to solar flares, the Schumann resonance, what's happening astrologically, we are coming around, and our whole planet's coming around and taking on so much more light, sun, soul, which is a part of what we are made of, that is activating our DNA, and that's kicking up and stirring up the shadows from within, and also that we see collectively in our worlds. So I mentioned a couple of things that might be showing up for you. You'll see a lot of different videos around how to manifest what you want, how to do this, how to get 5 steps for this, in order to try to find more equilibrium in your life. Something around relationships, your finances, or, purpose in your life, or your health, right? These are the main areas. And yet there's something that intuitively is just at the core of this whole thing, that rather than looking outside at all of these different things, if I can fix my finances, then I'll be happy. If this relationship were better, then I would be happy. And instead, we're starting to look and realize it's an inward journey first, because we are the creators of our reality. So one of the first things is really coming to understand and know that we are all connected, that we're moving from a separation consciousness into a unity consciousness, which means we see the interconnectedness, the quantum entanglement of everything that is one, that is unfolding. And here we are in the physical realm, but we also are creating from the non-physical realm. And so the non-physical realm, mastering the mind and the emotions, is what's going to then bring into the physical world those things that we want to manifest. And so that's where the magic is, mastering dimensions 1, 2, and 3. And that's what will help us to move into more soul embodiment, which are dimensions 4, 5, and 6. The astral realm, this beautiful platform of the now, basically the now, the power of now, and then also becoming more of the creator as we align with higher will, thy will, rather than the ego will. So there's some balancing that happens in this. So a couple of things I just want to touch on here is what might kickstart you on a type of journey like this, and why you might be feeling a little stuck. And then I'll do another part where I get a little bit deeper into some of the mechanics of what to do in order to start to progress or get unstuck. So the types of things that might throw you onto an awakening path, an awakening journey, that you may not be even aware of, except that somehow you landed here and that's how things work. It's perfect. Things could be like a health diagnosis, or an illness itself, or even an accident. Some of these things can trigger and dislodge a lot of the shadow within you. and suddenly it's getting kicked up, and your spiritual will, which is the kundalini, the fire, is awakened and starts to rise to burn out distortions from your lower three chakras and move up. And this is what awakening really is. So something like that could cause it to start. It could be a big breakup or heartbreak or a loss in the family, something traumatic. Anything super traumatic can kickstart this sort of what really matters, like what really matters. And you start to look at your life differently, and you look at the 3D and say, who cares, right? There's something greater here. There's much more meaning here that I'm looking for. And that's some of the essence of what you could be feeling when something traumatic like that happens around relationships. It could be that you meet somebody who just triggers the bejesus out of you, that's just very, very difficult in your life, and yet you feel this like karmic thing, like bond that needs to happen, and that you know is just to teach you lessons. And that can kickstart a will to get to the bottom of it. Because, or maybe you've had a series of relationships that were really difficult, and you're just done with that, and you really want to elevate the quality of your relationships. Again, all of these are pointing you inward, and you're realizing there's something within me that I'm ready to shift and change in order to change my outside world, because all of this working outside isn't working anymore. And that's when that fire of purification starts. That kundalini fire purifies the distortions from your lower three chakras. I'm not going to go into the details there. What else would be another thing that could kickstart something like this? Anyways, generally, I'm sure you get the gist. It could just be the work that you're doing in the world, and you're either still feeling like you're in lack, you don't have any sense of meaning or purpose in the work you're doing, and you just feel dull and almost dead inside when it comes to getting up and just doing the grind, right? And you just don't feel like you can get ahead. And you've tried all the things, and you've tried all the stuff, and it's just not feeling aligned. Well, when you start to awaken and you reach a certain point, your purpose kind of unlocks for you. And honestly, the trick there is just to realize that being authentically you, being you're honest and boldly you, is really your purpose. And then what happens is you start to attract the opportunities. So again, as we do this awakening, you attract the opportunities, you attract the people, you attract all the different things that are then showing you exactly the path. And so you learn to dance with the now, you learn to dance with what's coming to you, through you, for you, by you, in order to make your way into these next levels of awakening. So moving from, as I pull this out again, this diagram here, moving from dimensions 1, 2, 3 into 4, 5, and 6, which is that soul level, in order to embody more of the truth of who you are, which is soul having a physical experience, spirit having a physical experience, rather than being lost here in duality, thinking that by rearranging the creation that we've co-created, that rearranging that's going to make us happy. But no, we go into the non-physical and we learn how to bring that in through the physical by means of our attention and our balancing. So I'll go into that in the next part. I hope that this, I guess I don't really need to talk about stuck, because what's stuck is when you're feeling stuck in any of these areas. Your relationships are triggering you and you don't know how to get out of the imbalance there. Or you have, again, some lack of purpose in your life, or you're just in this grind and you can't seem to get out of lack mentality. And yet these things are coming to you. So that'll be kind of the key. I'll talk about really what's happening and how you can dance with this no matter what the situation is that has that's kicking up this discomfort and this fire within you that is wanting to burn off the distortion and bring you into the next level. That's what's happening. And it's not easy. It's not always easy, but it's simple. And once you learn how to dance with it, you can actually become much more just adept. Let's just say adept at this ride, this spiraling up into these higher levels. And then life just gets easier and better and more beautiful and peaceful. And the manifestation is just all the fears go away. We're moving out of fear and separation into unity and love. And it's game changing, worth every bit of extra effort, rather than waiting for life to happen at you. So, yep, we'll do another part here and we'll get a little bit more into the mechanics of what that looks like to get that unstuck, to come into that next level, and to do it with lots of joy and fun and feeling like you know you're in charge of your life instead of being reactive to life. So I'll see you on the next episode. Thanks for being here. If you liked it, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. Thanks so much.